Here's the truth about roofing estimates. Most contractors think an estimate or a quote is just a number. It's not. Your estimate is part of your sales process. And most roofers completely miss that. They're just thinking, I'll just give them a number. I'm good. I'll make it look pretty. I'll make it look nice. I'm good. But when I see questions in Facebook groups like, what's the best CRM for roofing estimates? Or what software should I use for quotes? I already know what's happening. They're looking for a tool to fix a process problem. A process problem. A tool cannot fix an entire process. Because the truth is that there's no magic CRM. There's no silver bullet. There's no software that suddenly makes you close more jobs. Now, that's kind of our tagline at ProLine. How do we do it? Because what matters is how your estimate fits into the entire customer experience. And we guide you through that process through our onboarding. It's not just a piece of software, it's a process. This is important because by the time the customer sees your estimate, the sale should already be halfway done. That was my goal in my business. We wanted to sell it. You built the brand. The trust is already there. You've already executed what you're supposed to do with the speed to lead part, right? We had already talked about that in other episodes. You need to make sure this is all nailed down so that once you get to the estimate, this is halfway there. You already gave the customer an amazing experience before you even showed up at their house. That's the biggest part, is that they trust you. They know the estimate's coming, and they know that it's a premium service. They saw all your reviews. They saw a fully wrapped vehicle. They saw your polo shirt. All those things are part of that process. They also talk to a friendly voice on the phone because you answer the phone 24/7, where it's AI, virtual assistants. You made sure that you were available to that customer. They received automated updates telling them when their inspector or sales rep is coming. They got a text introducing the sales rep. They got an email with a short video introducing the sales rep. Hey, I'm John. I'll be at your house tomorrow, XYZ. So when the sales rep pulls up in the driveway, the customer already feels like this is the most professional roofing contractor in their market. That matters because you're setting expectations. Because now the homeowner is not thinking, who are these people? Who is coming to my house? They already know your name, your face. It is the best experience. So now they're thinking, this is probably going to be premium, but it's going to be done well. And that's exactly where you want them to be mentally. You don't want them to be shocked. You know, they're really trying hard to show professionalism. This is why the estimate is not the beginning of your trust. It's just the continuation of the trust that you've already built. So let's zoom out for a second. The homeowner doesn't care about your CRM. They don't care about your estimating software. They care about one thing. Do they trust you enough to spend thousands and thousands of dollars with you? Your estimate is often the moment that trust either grows or it disappears. Think about the customer experience. They reach out because something's wrong or because they're just planning and they just don't trust contractors in general. But maybe they have a leak. That's one of the issues. Maybe they're dealing with insurance. Maybe they think that they're supposed to get a roof. Their neighbors are getting a roof, whatever the reason is. But maybe they're about to spend $15,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 on their home because they want to take care of their home. That was a lot of our customers. They just wanted to preemptively care about their home that they're going to retire in. So then we send them a PDF with numbers and no explanation. That's not a sales process. That is paperwork that they can just analyze numbers. And they don't know roofing speak. They don't know the terms that we know in the roofing industry. But the estimate is not the end of the sales process. The estimate is the beginning of the final decision phase. So here's what happens in most companies is that the sales rep goes out, no real prepping of trust at all. There's no automations of introducing that rep. They're not even answering the phone on time. The rep goes out, gets on the roof, measures the roof, maybe uses an Eagle View, maybe uses some other software to measure it. Then he just sends the estimate. Maybe follows up once. Almost never, though. Maybe they follow up twice. They have some sort of incentive in the company to make it better. But most sales reps just move on to the next lead. Then they wonder why their close rate is low. The reality is that most homeowners do not buy right away. I don't care how good your close rate, your one-stop close is. You know you don't sell every single one the first time. And if you do, you need to raise your prices. So most of them have sticker shock and they need time. They're comparing options. They love you. They think you're great, but then they're like, I got to at least keep this guy honest. They're talking to spouses. We can overcome these objections. Fine, do that. But a lot of people, they are figuring out financing. They're trying to figure out how to pay for this. But if your estimate does not create an ongoing experience, you'll lose. This is why I always say the estimate should start the relationship, not finish it. So let's talk about what does a great estimate actually do? First, it's going to create clarity. The homeowner understands exactly what they're buying, not just shingles. They're not just buying the labor, the crew that you know, that you trust. They're buying peace of mind. Second, what is the estimate doing? It's building confidence. It is a professional layout. We can all do those things. We have to be clear with the option. Do you have a good, better, best option? You better have a good, better, best option. Is there simple language involved so that they understand exactly what's going on without having to read some sort of jargon that we all talk about every day? But if your estimate looks confusing, homeowners assume your company is also confusing. What's the third thing that estimate does? And this is big. Your estimate should reinforce everything they already experienced before you got there. This is where it all connects. So your CRM, again, is not the golden ticket. It's not the silver bullet. The CRM simply allows all the great work that you already did to show up professionally. When the quote is built, it should include accurate roof measurements, at least a snippet of their roof, so they know down to the inch that you know how to measure roofs and you use technology to leverage that accurately. You have to show that. If you do, again, tears down potential objections and builds more trust. They see that you measure the roof to the inch. That removes that question. That removes that doubt. Again, the trust goes up again. So they know they can trust you. You built all this rapport. The estimate then tells their story, not your story, not all the accolades that you have, all the awards and the things and the 5-star, blah, blah, blah. You've already introduced yourself in the company. They already know about that. They don't really care. You've shown the professionalism. You've shown yourself. You've shown your sales rep. You got to show them their roof. You have to take photos. And we had a list of photos in our company that we had to take. Every roof component that we're going to replace, all the ventilation, all the pipes, all those things. You take those inspection photos, you put them in your estimate from your CRM. You annotate and draw on those images. You point out the chimney cricket, the flashing issues, ventilation, where it can be improved. How are you going to change? Pipe boots. Here's where the leak is. This is why it's leaking. These are the pipe boots that we recommend. You just show all those pain points and the areas of concern, and you show why your solution is the best solution.
Here's how roofers make it home for dinner every single night without losing a single sale, even when they're one-man shows. Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs. Your weekends will smell more like sunscreen and backyard barbecues than that crappy gas station coffee. And all you got to do is ask these roofers.
We had about 200% growth, and I attribute that to incorporating ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
It's been absolutely insane how quickly we were able to grow.
Now, ProLine's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday. Now, back to the show.
If you just do generic answers to things, oh, we're going to replace a pipe boot, that doesn't show them that you're different and you're professional. But you have to show them exactly what is wrong and exactly how you're going to fix it and how you're going to do it better. Because you're not just selling a roof. You're showing a solution, the best solution. And every time you remove a question, you remove an objection. That's what great estimates do. Let's talk about follow-up, because this is back to what's the best CRM for estimates and roof. If you don't have a good follow-up process, this is where most of the money is lost. Most contractors send the estimate and hope the customer calls back. That is not a strategy. Follow-up Friday is a thing, but most of the time, there's too many estimates out there to make it reasonable on a Friday. You should still try. Best companies actually automate the follow-up. And it's coming from the sales rep's phone. That phone number that's been calling and texting and emailing is coming from there. Not some random 6-digit number. It's coming from this phone that they've been calling and texting from. They're sending text, emails, they're checking in. It's coming from the sales rep's phone number. Hey, John, glad to hear from you. This is all designed to keep the relationship alive because they're going to have objections. And I learned this personally in my own roofing company. We sold jobs after months. A lot of them were after a year, where people were shopping, they got sticker shock, and then they thought shingle prices would go down. We tried to overcome that objection, showed them the graph of they always go up. Didn't matter. But we sold roofs after 12, 14, 17 months was the longest one we ever had. That's just with the automations coming from my phone. That they would apologize that they didn't reach out. But that only happens when follow-up is built into the process from your CRM. The estimate is not about getting an immediate yes. Sometimes there is an immediate yes, but it's about staying present until the homeowner is ready to say yes. And this is where a good CRM actually matters. Not just because it makes pretty estimates that are nice to look at, but because it helps you execute the sales activity you already know you're supposed to be doing. Most sales reps follow up 1, maybe 2 times, but most of them don't follow up at all. Not because they're bad, just because they're super busy. And most sales reps just want to go to the next deal, the next opportunity. They fear rejection because rejection is uncomfortable. Systems remove emotion from follow-up. Systems create consistency. Consistency creates revenue. Now let's talk about options. Another mistake I see is roofers giving one number, one choice. And I did this. I thought, it's too much work, or I don't want to confuse them, or even 2 choices is not good enough. There is countless research on having at least 3 options. Countless. But if you have 1 choice or 2 choices, that forces the homeowner to say yes or no thinking. It doesn't give them the power. It doesn't give them options. But if you get into good, better, best, or I know there's a lot of, debate on this about best, better, good. You have to be very good about that. If you do, we did flip it, but if you don't have a good process, they will think that you're the most expensive because you should send the best option first, and they just immediately X you out. But you have to let the homeowner feel in control. When customers feel like they're choosing instead of being sold, your close rate will go up. Financing should also be part of the estimate conversation. It's not something you just mention at the end. It should be asked, our friends say, often, early, and always. Homeowners understand monthly payments faster than big totals. When financing is easy, the estimate feels easier to say yes to. But again, this is about customer experience. The estimate is not just math. It's communication, excellent communication, clear communication. It's a reassurance. It's leadership from the top down. This is the company culture that you need to build in your sales process. The best roofing companies don't just send estimates. They present solutions to the homeowner's specific problem. They stay present. They stay present until the decision is made. They never give up. They follow up until they're told. So let's recap. Your estimate is not just paperwork. It's the continuation of trust you already built. Your brand is strong, and it started that relationship. Speed to lead proved that you are professional. The estimate reinforces confidence they already had. The clear visuals, like their roof and the problem solution, removes more objections. Follow-ups close deals. Automations create consistency in the sales process. And options make it easier for homeowners to say yes. So if your estimate is not helping you close more jobs, it's not doing its job. The goal is not to send more estimates. The goal is to convert more estimates into signed contracts. That's where the money is. That's the truth about roofing estimates.